For those who don't know, if this is your first time, my name is Johnell. I am one of your hosts for Heat Check, powered by Designated Report. This is my guy, Matt Price, Cash Walkin. My guy, how are you feeling now that your Eagles officially punched their ticket? They're going to be in Arizona to play against the Chiefs.
Oh, there's been a lot of haters out there, man. Been a lot of haters. A lot of people say, "Oh, the record, well, their record was what it was. They
I
played a
was
weak
one of them.
schedule. Blah 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 blah." Here we are. We're playing Pat Mahomes. One game left to win to
Yep.
be world champs. That's all
Yeah.
that matters to me right now. All
I
that
was
other talk
definitely,
from before. A
yeah,
lot of
I was,
people were you. A lot of people were, but I'm telling you, there's something special about this kid. Hurts, man. There's something special about this kid. He has been through so much in such a young football career, and what he
yeah,
went through at Alabama
Alabama.
and Tua taking his spot and having to bounce back and recover from that, and like after having so much success at Alabama early as a freshman, then to face adversity, go to
Yep.
Oklahoma, get them to the playoff, all have a great season, being high. Every year he was in the Heisman conversation that he played.
Yep.
He's a winner. He's a winner, and I think they're gonna figure out a way to do
So I don't know about that. Not yet, anyway.
it.
I I was definitely one of those people that I was like, they had, not so much that they hadn't played anybody, but I'm just like, I wasn't sure that their record was indicative of how good the team was, but probably like November, December, towards the end of the season, I definitely turned the corner. And I said that the Eagles were going to be a problem for whoever they played in the playoffs. And sure enough, here
Yes,
they are.
yes,
So I haven't made a pick yet. I'm not saying that I won't pick the Eagles because it's hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes, but you guys have a really good team, like a great
yeah.
team.
They're
So
very balanced. They're very
yeah,
balanced. They got good players everywhere. Like I mean, there's some great players on this team. Hall of Famers like Fletcher Cox. Brandon Graham's a really really good player.
yep,
I love all these guys. AJ Brown, huge signing. Bradbury. I can't believe the Giants just let him go. They just let him walk. And
yep,
then Howie Roseman coming through, like all these guys, C.J. Gardner Johnson, Hassan Reddick. These are all free agent acquisitions. I was ready to hang this guy for real. For the for taking Jalen Rager over Justin Jefferson
yeah,
and constantly and then taking some other dude who's not even in the league anymore over DK Metcalf the year before that when all Carson Wentz needed was some weapons. But he went out there and he got aggressive, and I'll give Howie Roseman his credit, man. He built a
yeah,
great team.
yeah. We'll see. We could touch on that next week before the Super
For
Bowl.
sure.
But
For
man, it
sure.
must it must be nice to be in the Super Bowl, man. Must be nice to get some playoff wins because as a Cowboy
It's
fan, we don't see
beautiful.
a lot of them.
It's beautiful. It really feels great. It really feels great to stand on top of the football world and look down on all you peasants.
So we'll transition into the NBA. I know you and we were talking earlier, and I was just kind of like, what's been the news? I feel like there hasn't been a whole
Yeah.
lot of news or like, anything interesting to talk about. Um, the first thing that I do want to get into is LeBron's pursuit of the all-time scoring record. And I think what's a little weird about it is as much as people have been talking about it, I feel like it's not as big of a story as it should be. You and we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, and you mentioned it. You were like, this was like an untouchable record. Like nobody thought
Yeah.
that anybody would get close to this, and here we are. We
Yeah.
have Bron on the verge of breaking it, and it just feels like it's been swept under the rug a little bit. But I wanted to get your thoughts because LeBron, as it stands, LeBron is 88 points shy of breaking Kareem's record. Um, so right now, if you had to place a bet, if you had to pick, when do you think he breaks it? Against who?
Okay. So okay. There's a lot that goes into this, and I think you mentioned this in the show before. I'm putting it next Thursday, February 9th against the Bucks. That's a TNT game. That's the next time they play on national television,
Yep.
and he's probably That's 4 games from now. They play tomorrow against Indiana. They have
Yep.
Indiana, New Orleans, Oklahoma City. Those two are on the road, so they're coming off a road trip. They got Oklahoma City at home, and then and I don't think he'll even depend. It depends. He might not even play one of these
Yeah,
to
I agree.
rest up for that TNT game. So he could, if he plays off 4, he could get it at home against Oklahoma City. But if he sits out one, I definitely think that there's incentive, and he'll start thinking. He said himself today when it gets closest or closer, like really, really close, where he's like a game or a few points away. That's when it'll jump to the front of his mind, and maybe he'll get aggressive and go out and just get it to
Yeah.
get it out of the way. And I think that against Milwaukee, somewhere where Kareem played at home on national TV, I think that that's going to be where he targets that I want to do it.
Yeah.
They'll probably get TNT, Turtle, get Kareem out there, the Lakers and all that. They'll make a whole thing of it. So I think the NBA will like that, and LeBron will like that too. Like if he
Uh,
goes into next Thursday, like I said, then it's like 18 points away. He's 89 points away now. So if he, you know, scores 69 over the next couple of days or whatever, and he's just 20 points away, yeah,
yeah. No,
yeah,
I'm with you. I do think it happens next Thursday as well against the Bucks.
yeah,
You mentioned it actually a couple weeks ago when we talked that LeBron's got a few big games in him. And,
oh yeah,
at that time, I think at the 30-point per game clip that he's been at, I think that put him at either that OKC game or the New Orleans game. So he's kind of like right on pace, but he also didn't play on Monday. So
yeah,
it's kind of right where we thought he would be. But I'm with you. I think if he has a big game tomorrow, I think he plays the next game against New Orleans and then he
yeah.
sits.
I guess yeah. I think he
Because
sits it too.
again, at 30 points a game, he needs 3 games and he's got 4
Yeah,
in the next week. So I'm with
and you
you.
got to measure the 2 games against each other too. Like that, not to interrupt you, but like I mean, yes, OKC and they're tied with OKC right now in the standings. So yeah, there'll be incentive to play that game, but then you got to look at like against Milwaukee. That's a game you want to get on national TV.
Yeah.
I think that that's just something that he's going to go after. When he if he's going to measure against who to play against, he'll take. I'm going to rest up to get ready for Giannis coming to town
Yeah.
rather than I think AD can play with Russ the night before
Yeah.
against OKC and they can at least put up a fight.
Yeah. I'm totally with you. And um it's just one of those things where um it doesn't seem like Braun is pressing in any of these games. Like it seems like everything is kind of within the flow of the game. Um as opposed to when Steph was chasing the 3-point record, it felt like he was pushing. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it felt like, all right, I have 15 more, and he was and it took him out of his game. I feel like LeBron's just been playing his game and it's been coming easy to him. So
Right.
um the only thing that I kind of disagree with you on is whether or not Kareem will be there.
Oh yeah.
Because Kareem has been very vocal about LeBron and some of the things Bron has said or his beliefs or whatever. So on the one hand, I kind of question it. At the same time, I think he'll put it aside for like the league. You know what I'm
The
saying?
league.
And
They're
show
two
up.
faces of the league over the last 4 decades.
Yeah.
5, if you're really for Kareem, you're going back to the '70s. So, and that transition of like that rite of passage, like he has to be there for that.
Yeah.
He's able to walk. He's older, but not so old that you got to roll him in there
Yeah.
on his deathbed or something like that. Like Kareem is moving around, and he's still capable of going to this game. It's in LA. I believe he still lives there. Come on,
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
downtown real quick. Take a I don't know how do they travel around besides car? What's the
I don't
faster
know.
way? They take jets or something?
They'll figure it out.
It's
He'll have an
Hollywood.
escort or something.
Yeah,
Um, Yeah, it feels reminiscent to when LeBron broke or passed Kobe in Philly, where Kobe's from.
Right.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We're both on the same page. We're thinking next Thursday, the 9th, February 9th, against
That's the
Milwaukee. It
target
just
for me.
seems like the Hollywood, script
Yeah.
coming to life,
Seems like the way you would write it, right? If you're
Yeah,
writing a sports, epilogue or whatever.
yeah, exactly. Um, so the trade deadline is coming up. We actually just mentioned it, February 9th.
Mhm.
That is the trade deadline for the 2022-23 season. Um, there's a lot of rumors swirling, obviously. There always is around this time. Teams looking to buy and hopefully make a push for a championship. Other teams looking to sell, build towards the future. So I just we I think you've got a list of a few things. I have a list of a few things. Potential trade partners, teams, players. Um, who's an interesting person that you've heard in trade talks in the last few weeks?
So there's three names that jump out to me right away. Okay, like they're not big names, but they're guys I feel like will make big impacts wherever they go. So there's obviously OG Anunoby
Yep.
out of Toronto. I'm hearing Milwaukee. There's the Knicks. There's a lot of teams. I think Phoenix was involved in trades with them too. Uh, that's a very interesting target because he's so young, and
Yep.
I think that we've really just scratched the surface with what this kid can be. If he's playing, alongside Siakam. He's always been when Kawhi was there. He was in the lineup with a lot of other guys. So I think if he gets to a team where he can be featured, the sky's the limit for this kid. He showed the ability to
Sure.
defend. He showed the ability to score in this league, averages 17 points a game. He's a wing, most important position in the league. That intrigues me. So wherever he goes, I think he helps the team.
Okay.
The other, now I'm looking for veteran guards on the same team. They're talking Fred VanVleet because he's got
Yep.
the contract issue. And they don't know what the money. Toronto doesn't know what he's going to ask for. They don't know if they're going to even want to pay it. So that his shooting ability, and even for his size, his ability to defend on the perimeter,
Yep.
huge gains for any team that picks him up. I look at Miami for him. Honestly, Kyle Lowry probably on his way out.
Yep.
Obviously, if they can swap that back, take that money off of them, let him retire where he finished, where he played his career, and get that money off your books. That's a move Toronto can make. And then
Okay.
finally, Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon, a true NBA scorer, finally healthy, a veteran. Anywhere he goes and comes off the bench, he's a guy who can play and sit in the corner and knock down threes. He can
Yep.
create a basket for himself, and
Yep.
he also is another good defender still at this point in his career. The Lakers are who need to go get him. He's exactly what they need. They got their other wing in Hachimura. Go get this dude, Eric Gordon. His numbers are down a little bit, but it's because he plays on a trash team and they're not committed to winning. I think if you put him in a winning situation, Eric Gordon is a great pickup for anybody.
Who do you think the Lakers would have to give up in that situation?
So I think that Houston will take anybody. Like they'll take a later draft pick from whenever and Kendrick Nunn or something like that. I think they'll just get him out of it at that point.
Okay.
And just take any draft capital or money or something just to make the deal work. I
Yeah.
think he's just the kind of guy that they appreciate his time there. They just want to get him out of there, get him to a contender to give him a chance to win. He's done his time there. He's done his
It
time
feels
there.
like
He's
purgatory,
been there
honestly.
through the Harden days, the Chris Paul Harden days, the Westbrook Harden days, the everybody else Harden days.
Yep.
They tried everything with that group and it didn't work out. So I think that that's somebody that they got to get out of there. And he will help anyone, especially
I
a
like that.
contender.
I like that a lot. Um, one of the person that I was originally thinking of, and I feel like these rumors just came about recently.
Yeah,
Bones Highland from Denver,
Denver.
and I think he would
I like that
be
kid.
me too. He would be an
Electric,
asset to
electric off
anybody
the
he went
bench.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um,
Electric, just nonstop energy. I love that.
but I'm gonna go in a different direction. It's a player that I don't necessarily like, and one that I don't necessarily think is. I shouldn't say I don't think he's good, but there are Trae Young trade rumors swirling, and
Really?
yeah, what's interesting
He's
about it?
having a
Well,
rough year this year.
he's having a rough year, but I think it's not trade rumors necessarily, but some inside execs are saying that they believe he does not want to be in Atlanta after this year. If that's truly the case, Atlanta can't let him walk out the door and not get any sort of compensation for him.
Exactly.
So you go back earlier in the season, you and I spoke about him and Nate McMillan having that fallout, wanting him to come off the bench,
Yep.
practice. He didn't show up to the game, the whole nine. And it just seems like the writing's on the wall that there's just something off with
Right.
between Trae Young and the team. Um, so if he truly is not planning on signing a supermax deal or staying with that team, and the Hawks aren't going to be able to sway him otherwise, they have to move him
Have to.
before next week because
You can't have a Kyrie Boston situation. You can't. They're not built like that. Boston was built
they're
a lot
not at
better with
all.
Jaylen Brown and Tatum still
Yep,
there after that. With just
exactly.
DeJounte Murray and a bunch of other guys, they're not built for it.
Exactly. So I saw a laundry list of teams that are I think everybody would be interested, but
Of
um,
course.
you know, Dallas, New Orleans, um, who else did I see? Shoot.
Phoenix needs to be in that conversation.
And I feel like everybody would be in
Yeah.
that conversation. And again, like,
That's an action packed backcourt right there. Booker and Trae Young.
yeah,
That's an
again,
action packed backcourt.
especially if it's, and Atlanta starts to lose leverage, if it's true, like, hey,
Yeah,
I'm not re-signing with you guys, they've got to sell low and just try to get something. But first round pick, obviously a mistake with Luka, but first round pick, first round talent, you've got to be able to get something in
for
return
sure.
and be able to build towards the future if Trae Young is just not going to be your guy.
For sure. Maybe I don't even know. I mean, where could he send it? I mean, my they would not want to trade him within division. I
Oh,
wouldn't
absolutely
imagine
not.
to like a Miami or a Charlotte or something like that. I doubt they would even want to trade him within the East. But I I'm trying to think of like the all the point guard rich teams are in the West. Like who needs him out there?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Everybody's got a point guard out there. So and that's what I mean. That's why Phoenix jumps to mind because I heard that there's rumors of them trying to get off Chris Paul as well. And maybe potentially seeing the end of that relationship, which would be sad, but it is what it is. So
They had their
that's
window.
yeah, they had their window and they didn't capitalize. So I mean, everybody would take Trae, like you said, but I think that there would be a hesitancy, I think, for the teams that already have a point guard to get off what they have
Mhm.
to go after Trae.
I agree with that. And to your point, down year this year, um, shooting percentage, like from the field, shooting percentage from three, lowest
Yeah,
since his rookie year. I don't want to say he's regressing, but again, if it's a bad situation, that can absolutely have an effect on your play on the court. So,
100%.
it might just he might need new scenery, and next thing you know, you have a revamped, re-energized player, and
If he goes to Oklahoma City, back that backcourt of him and
that would
SGA,
be nuts. You
Trey
talk about an
Trey Young
electric,
returns
yeah.
to Oklahoma.
Um,
Wow.
who do you think of? Not necessarily the players that we've mentioned, but just any potential trade rumors. Who do you think would be the most impactful pickup for a team?
Honestly, okay. So I mentioned Ananobi, but I won't stay on that. I think Grayson Allen is going to help somebody a lot. Again, I harp on this so much because my team is missing this and they need to go get it. 3 and D, man. Get as
Yep.
many of those guys as you can get. If you got a whole team of 3-and-D guys, you're at least going to be competitive.
Yeah.
Get as many wings, 6'4" to 6'8" as you can, and that can shoot threes from the corner and play defense. Everything else after that, you build your roster. You go to the draft. You hope you find a stud there, but that's what you need. If you got a team full, like look at Utah, that's what they got. They got a team full of
Yeah.
wings that can shoot and play defense, and as a result, they're at least in it. And they were trying to tank in the front
Yeah.
office, so
Yep.
that's what I mean. They're at least going to be competitive. So that's what I mean. Grayson Allen to anywhere. He's another one. He can shoot the three at a pretty good clip. I think he's at 39% or so. It's not great, but it's not terrible. He can play above the rim, and he's a gutsy defender. And
Absolutely.
that's what I mean. Like he's like that irritant as a
Yeah.
defender that
100%. Yeah.
offensive players in the NBA hate that. So a guy who gets in your space like that in the playoffs for a team trying to really make a push, man, Grayson Allen is gonna you go get that, and then you let him hit free agency. He's also gonna try and play as well as he's trying to play himself into big money
Yeah.
this
Into a
summer.
contract. Yeah. Yeah.
So even if you don't keep him on your roster, it doesn't matter. You trade something that you can get rid of, go get him if you think he can get you all the way to the finals.
So interesting that you brought up Grayson Allen because the trade rumor I had been hearing, and I think it's sort of been put to bed, was Grayson Allen for Jay Crowder.
Right.
And I think the reports were that the Suns didn't want Grayson Allen. So I feel like they're still trying to work it out. They might be looking for more compensation from Milwaukee or whatever. But I think Jay Crowder on the Bucks would be a
Yeah.
nightmare for
Yeah.
Boston, Philly,
Yeah.
Brooklyn. Just
He's that PJ Tucker type.
yeah, I call him Green Light Jay because that man has never seen a shot that he doesn't like.
Yup.
But he's a capable scorer, 3-and-D, like you said. He can shoot the three ball, but he defends. So to have Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Giannis, and Jay Crowder on the court at the same time,
it's a lot of length, yo.
that it's gonna be
Portis or
hell.
Lopez be one of your centers.
Yes,
That's a lot of length for Jason Tatum to have to navigate through, for Jaylen Brown to have to navigate through,
yes,
for Kevin Durant to have to. You got to go. You get past one guy, you get to the next level. It's another
yeah,
7-footer.
yeah.
Woo.
So me personally, I would love to see that happen. I just think
Yeah.
it adds another layer to the Eastern Conference. It's top heavy. It's top four, and then everybody else more or less. So if we get those four in championship games moving forward, like it's just going to make for incredible basketball. So I would like to see Jay Crowder on that team.
I would too. I think that would be fun. I think that would be fun too. Did you hear anything about Alex Caruso being on the trade market?
I saw that the Bulls were looking for 2 first-rounders for Alex Caruso.
What do you feel about that?
So it's one of those things. I don't know if you've ever watched Seinfeld, but there's
I love Seinfeld. I watch him before I go to sleep.
Me too. There's an episode where Elaine gets an invitation to a wedding in India, but it's like the week before, and she was like, they didn't really want me to go to this wedding. It was an invitation. Like they sent it to show face, but like they figured I wasn't gonna go. I feel like this is very similar, where it's we're interested, or we're willing to entertain trading Alex Caruso, but 2 first-rounders feels like a lot. So it feels like they want to keep him unless they're gonna get a haul in return.
Right. I was like, are you? Is that that's exactly what it is, an invitation. Because look, I want to start by saying I respect Alex Caruso as a player.
Me too.
And he is a good NBA player. But in no way will he ever be worth 2 first-round picks.
Yeah,
that's wilding. Like, chill. So I saw that they were doing that, and I was like, they can't be serious. They can't be serious.
But to your point, he's a very good player. Like
Yeah,
he would help a contender, hands down,
100%,
hands down.
100%. He in
So
any of those teams at the top in the East or the West, he would help a whole lot on their bench, or even you could even insert him into your starting lineup because
yeah,
what he has is like it's not a measurable. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's inside him. Like he's a competitor. That's what
intangible,
it
yeah.
is. Yeah, it's intangible. So like that's what it is about Alex Caruso. You can't coach that. You try to, but you can't. There's just some guys who got it in them, and that's what makes him an interesting prospect. But in no way worth 2 first-round picks.
And it feels like the Bulls are having a fire sale in general.
Yeah, like what's up with Vucevic? Are
Yep,
we keeping DeRozan? I want to see because that's an interesting thing. I know. Again, I keep cutting you off, but it's like every time you say something, another thought jumps into my head about this whole thing. The play-in, the existence of the play-in has changed the way
yep,
that they approach the trade deadline. Now, guys aren't. You're still in it, so you're not out of it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You're not selling out. Like the Bulls
They're
are
at the
23
11
and
right now.
27. They're 11.
Yep,
Yeah, that's a game. That's a game behind the 10, so they can get into play in. And then it's only 3 games or 4 games behind the Knicks.
yep,
That if you just get on a 5 game winning streak, then you know you're in good shape.
yeah.
You're in good shape, and so you're in the playoffs. Who knows if you start playing good basketball, maybe something happens here. So it's just teams' approach is changing. That's why I look at Chicago, Toronto, their approach, even Indiana. Like they started the season probably thinking it wasn't, trying to shop Miles Turner. Now they just paid him
Yeah.
$60 million.
Yeah.
So the approach has changed for a lot of people. What's Washington going to do? They Brad Beal has wanted some type of stability for a long time. You
Yeah.
got Porzingis, you got Kuzma, you got these guys there, but it's not working out. What do they do there? You stick with it, or do you start selling guys off? Atlanta, as we mentioned. So that it's not as it was in the past at all. Where
Yeah.
guys, we're 50 games in, or 50 plus games in for a lot of teams. So you look at it and you say, man, who's really still in this thing?
So as you were talking, it just made me think, you were talking about the play-in, and 100% it's changed the way teams have to operate, into the trade deadline, because you've got to assess as a front office, as a coaching staff, whatever, like, do we have a chance?
Yeah,
Again, are we going to be buyers? Are we going to be sellers? Are we going to stand
yeah,
pat? Because you don't want to mortgage your future, give up your first round picks for the next 3 years, and then you only end
mm-hmm.
up at the 7th seed and you get bounced early because
Oh,
like, what was
torture.
the point? But maybe it's one of these teams who have been injured. One of your players has been injured a lot of the season, and they're getting healthy right around this time. Okay, we have a soft schedule down the stretch. Like, let's add that piece so that we can make a run, so that we can get to that 5 seed, and then we can
Right.
potentially really make some noise. That's a really good point about the play-in, because it really does,
Yeah.
like, at this point, it's still very early in the season. So
Yeah.
you've got to make a decision in February about where you're going to be in April, and whether or not you're going to be a contender for a
Yeah.
championship in the playoffs. So that's a
Exactly. I
really good
mean,
point.
and that's the thing. When you're making these acquisitions and you're trading people, this could be the move that changes, everything for you. It could
For
it could
sure.
swing you into the lottery, and now you just traded all your picks, or it could propel you from an 8 seed to a 5 seed in the next 30 games. So
Yeah.
it's just it's a huge decision to make for all these front offices, and they got to really like take a deep breath and really a realistic assessment of what their product is.
For sure. What do you think? You mentioned the Lakers earlier on, and I know that there's been talks about Pat Bev. There's also been talks about Russell Westbrook. Do you think either of them, both of them, get moved? None of them get moved before the trade deadline?
I think Pat Bev is going to be out of there. They're going to probably use him to get to one of the another veteran player from somewhere else, some shooting most likely. I heard today to Detroit for Bogdanovich, but that's an interesting thing too. Is like I don't know. They paid Bogdanovich over. He signed a free agency there,
Hmm.
so they paid him like he's under contract. I don't know that they want I think they want to win at some point. Detroit, like they're
For sure.
even though they're
Yeah.
not winning this year, I think that they want to hit the draft, keep their
They're
veteran guys
building.
like that they got. Burks, like they're trying to have some veteran guys there. I don't know if they want to move him, but a guy like Pat Bev on a young roster, like that's what he needs to be there. That's what he needs. He doesn't need to be on a team that's like a win now team. I feel like don't look what he did with Minnesota, a young development team. Now
Yeah.
he turned them into some dogs. They're playing good basketball right now. Like that's what Pat Bev is going to be for the rest of his career. Go
Fair
help
enough.
these young guys understand the intensity and the approach that you have to take towards NBA basketball, like real pro basketball.
I like that. Uh, and I'm with you on it.
Yeah, I
Um,
like the move if they do it to Detroit. I do like it. They
is
need the
there?
shooting.
Oh, they 100% need the shooting. Um, is there a team in the league that needs to make a trade that would put them over the top? Um, my general line of thinking is that it would be somebody in like the 3 to 6 range, currently.
Right.
Um, but is there a team that you can think of that they can make a move, kind of make a big splash, and ultimately that puts them over the top to where they are legitimately title
I got two.
contenders?
Yeah, I got two real specific teams, and there you'll probably agree with both of them. In the East, it's Milwaukee. They're the two. I think I said they just need a little bit more depth.
Hmm.
And like I said, that Jay Crowder, if they can pull that off and get that done, that is what will propel them past everybody. I think that he's a piece that championship experience. He's a piece that will really help them. And then in the West, it's Dallas, man. This guy Luca is playing at such a high level. You have to try and get him something else in there. They're looking at shopping Reggie Bullock. I mean, that's a little bit of your shooting and stuff like that, but I don't know what their plan is. They got to figure something out. They got to get some guys who are more consistent. Christian Wood got a lot of talent, not consistent.
Yeah.
Dinwiddie definitely very inconsistent this year.
Yep.
Tim Hardaway Jr. the most inconsistent. He would have games where he hits 7 threes, and then another
Yeah.
game where he's 0 for 14. Like it's horrible. So they got to get this guy Lucas some consistency, some help. That's the team in the West that I feel like if they're a move away. I don't know who it is exactly, but they're a move away. They need somebody who can score on their own. Maybe bring Aaron Gordon there. That's another place.
I can
They
see
need
that.
guys who can score effectively, on their own with Lucas off the court, and guys who could also hit shots for him and play off of him because he has the ball all the time. So you need guys who can hit open shots in the corner when he
So
draws
do
a
you,
lot of attention.
so do you think there's one player that is available? I mean, everybody's available, but realistically available that the Mavs could pick up and make the impact that you're talking about?
Yes. So, excuse me. Yeah, he's a player I haven't mentioned yet. Terry Rozier.
Okay.
Terry Rozier. The Hornets are a dumpster fire right now. You know MJ. When MJ gets a tank going and he sees it, he commits, yo. So like, I think Rozier is somebody that get they can get out of there for some reasonable draft capital
Yep.
or a Finney Smith or something like that Dallas is trying to get out of there, and you get a real NBA scorer, somebody who could score 30 with Luca same night, or that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Terry Rozier is a scary offensive player, so that's somebody that I would look out to in a team that's going to be willing to move a player like that. Because that's it. You don't want to be if you're Mark Cuban in Dallas. You don't want to be pulling teeth to get there. You want to go out and get somebody who the team is willing to move.
Yeah. Yeah. So the player in the team, the player is somebody that you mentioned before. The team we've talked about, just not today. Rumors. Again, all of these are rumors until they
All these are
happen.
rumors.
You mentioned OG Anunoby,
Yeah.
and the reports are that the Raptors are looking for 3 first rounders.
Mm-hmm.
The Memphis Grizzlies have 1 first rounder this year. They've got 2 first rounders next year. I think they have 1 first rounder from Golden State.
Okay.
If that's all it is, and I put all in quotes, if that's all it is to get
Just the
him,
picks.
just the
Yeah.
picks, pull the trigger, because
For a team
I,
like that, yeah.
I feel like that could
Yeah.
potentially put that team over the top.
That is like exactly what they need. Like it,
A 3
and
and
he
D,
fits. Yeah, he
yes.
fits exactly what they're doing. You know, he fits exactly what they're doing. I do really like that too. I really like that a lot for them and for OG. Because he have
Yeah.
opportunity to he'd have some more one-on-one opportunities, some to go out there and eat on his own.
Yep. Yep.
I
And
like that.
you get, Dylan Brooks, I think he's averaging like 15 or 16. You bring him off the bench as the first option,
Yeah,
he'll eat on that second,
I think that's more of his position too. That's more of what he is. Like that's
yeah.
his. That he should be their flamethrower off the bench that comes in there and just does his thing.
You burn it down, bro?
I don't know about somebody cooking down there. You can hear it. I looked all in. I was like, I'm not cooking nothing. I was like, what the hell? You
um
see my face? I was
yeah. So it's Wednesday today. We'll be back on next Wednesday, so right before the
yeah.
deadline. And hopefully we'll have some action.
Hopefully,
We'll have some trades and, for lack of a better word, new teams to look forward to
everybody's got
down the
3 or 4
stretch.
games until then, so a lot could
Yeah,
happen in 3 or 4 games. A lot teams could completely change the way that they are looking at their situation right now. You know,
absolutely.
oh, like my team, a team like the Knicks, they're what now? They're 27-24 now, 7th seed. You know, if they win and they're 31-24 come next week, they got picks too. OG Anunoby looks good, for them too. And now
In
that's
orange and blue.
another position of need.
Yeah.
But if they lose 3 or 4 straight and now they're back under 500, to me, you hit the development pause. You say I got to get off some of these older guys, get off Rose, get off Fournier, for the love of God, while he's playing good basketball, get off of Julius Randle. He can't do it. Get off of him. And then, if that's the thing, he's playing, all NBA level on some nights.
Yep.
Get an all NBA trade package of draft picks so that you can trade for a real star. You didn't have enough to get Donovan Mitchell. Trade this guy, my man Ari from Manhattan. Shout out to him. A fellow Knicks fan. He says it. Get this draft capital, man. Get it, and
You
go and
need
get a real star.
you need Julius. I don't know how many games you guys got, 4 games or whatever before the deadline. You need him to go off for like two of those games. He got to go off for like
Crazy.
30 and 15 to where his stock is
Up,
astronomical. And
but
then
lose these games.
yeah.
Like, that's what we need. And I need to then they need to fire Tibbs and trade Julius Randle. Done with him.
You're trying to get rid of Tibbs too?
Yo, they must be separated, bro. He's still in 1990. He's in the 90s. They enable each other's worst qualities. Like Julius Randle, last night at the game, I'm sitting there looking at the jumbotrons, all the field goal percentages. You want to know who had the worst field goal percentage on the night of all the players on the Knicks who played basketball last night at Madison Square Garden? Julius Randle. You want to know they drew up some type of nonsense with 4.5 seconds left. ISO to Julius. When Jalen Brunson was leading all scores. Come on, man. Get out of here. They had no action before the inbound, nothing. Just give it to Julius and let him throw the ball to the rafters. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, so the fact that you've been preaching this all year, and we've seen it. We've witnessed it. Julius Randle, he's not that guy down the stretch. So
You
like
can't do it
the fact that Tibbs is drawing up plays, or
again.
maybe not even drawing up plays, but just like giving him the rock and being like, "Hey, I need you to
You
get a
got it, big
bucket."
dog.
It's like,
What are you doing, yo?
nah, that's
He
wild.
keeps doing it, and it's been all the national TV games too. That's the worst part about it. He did it against Memphis the first night of the year. He did it again against they did it against Brooklyn the first time they played. It's every time against Philly. They on Christmas.
On Christmas, yes, that was yes.
It's just a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Enough. Look, I respect everything he's done, Tibbs. He's done a good job of bringing back good culture and fixing at least he got them competitive, yo. But he has taken this team as far as they can go. Get me a modern coach. I don't care what Ime Udoka did at this point. If it wasn't murder, then get him to coach the Knicks.
I mean, adultery, we frown upon adultery, but
everyone
at the end of the day,
NBA
just is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone, players, coaches, scouts, owners, especially owners. They're all adultery.
Yeah.
So get out of here with that. Get off your high horse. Give me a modern NBA coach. And then maybe you could keep Julius Randle, because that dude would know what to do with a player like Julius Randle. Not sit him in the elbow or in the wing and say, "Go get me a bucket."
Yeah, that's a bad move. That's a bad move.
Psychotic.
Speaking of Ime, Nia Long, did you see that she was on like a red carpet with Omarion recently?
No, I didn't see that. Like they're not dating though. Like she was just like there, and they were there too. They weren't there together. Like they were there.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you think?
It seemed like they were. It seemed like he was her date or vice versa.
Okay. Hey, look, maybe they know each other. They're both from the West Coast, I guess. Something like that. Yeah. Hey, look.
Must be nice.
That ain't none of my business. That ain't none of my business. What is my business is what the Knicks are doing on the basketball court. And I want better. So yeah, man, this was storylines to look out for. Fun show though today. Fun show.
Yeah, Cash. Before we get out of here, do you have any games this week that you are looking forward to?
Tonight, Kyrie's return to Boston. You know he was throwing up the double birds behind his head the last time he was there. There is no love lost for Kyrie in Boston. So that's the game to watch. ESPN, Celtics, Nets. I know there's no KD, but it's going to be good. It's always good.
All right, we'll tune in. We'll check back next week. As always, if there are any comments, questions, Cash, actually, I know I've been ending the show just asking for feedback and things like that. I don't know if you've seen any of the clips on TikTok, but people they've definitely been engaging on TikTok. So if you haven't seen them, take a look.
Yeah. What y'all calling me out? Trying to come for me? What's up?
No. I don't think anybody was coming. In fact, I think a lot of people were agreeing with you. It was
that's what's up, my people.
It was the this or that section. A lot of people were agreeing with what you were saying. So we got a lot of different outlets. So we just got to make sure we cover all our bases, see what people are saying,
check in with
incorporate them into the show.
I'll check in with y'all. I'll check in with y'all.
But yes, if you guys have any questions or if you have any thoughts, comments, anything, drop them down below. And we'll either get back to you in the comments or we'll incorporate them into the show moving forward. But this is Heat Check, Designated Report.
I gotta get better on TikTok. I do. I gotta get better on TikTok. So I'll be on Twitter and Instagram a lot, but I gotta get better with the TikTok.
So that's the thing. Like technology. Social media, it moves so fast. So like, I feel like I'm speaking for me. Facebook, I've almost like it's active. I don't go on Facebook. Like I have the app on my phone. I don't use that.
It's not even downloaded on my phone.
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I've been getting into TikTok a little bit more, and I feel like their algorithms a lot better at matching you with like people that want to see your content. And I feel like that's huge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's huge. Yeah, I need to do that. I gotta get more. I gotta start getting more stuff out there because I got stuff to get on my chest.
And we need to hear it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, if you guys have anything, make sure to let us know down below, and we will address them either in the comments or in the next show. But again, this is Heat Check, powered by Designated Report. I am Johnell. This is Cash Walk-In, Matt Price, my guy. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, y'all. Be good. Blessings.